Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome back to another Smite request. I got requested playing Zhong Kui in Conquest. There were no specific role I had to play him in, so I figured I'd play him in the mid lane. And knowing my luck, when I pick up a god I haven't played in a long time, of course I'm against the same god. Also had it one time when I was Arachne jungle, just to try it out. I was against an Arachne jungle. That didn't really work out in my favor, I can tell you that. But we have an Anubis in the solo lane. You will have a very rough time against their tier, that's for sure. We have an Apollo ADC Gap as a support and a Bellona as jungle. So we'll have to see how this will work out. I will be the mid laner. If I remember correctly, it is Zhong Kui in the mid lane as well. It's Ao Quang in the jungle, Tyr in the solo lane, and the Athena Apollo as the dual lane combination. What do I think of Zhong Kui? Well, Zhong Kui is a very powerful god. He has a lot of damage over time, but he needs some time to get it all off. When you are in a grouped up fight, you will deal a huge amount of damage with your ult, with your one, able to stun out a lot of them. And, well, just overall quite tanky as well. Especially in the early game, his tankiness is just insane. You don't have a real good kill potential on him if he has his stacks up and positions himself carefully enough. So, there is something I want to test this game. There is an item that I'd like to build, and that's just for testing it. If you have seen some of my Zhong Kui videos, you know I like to build him auto attack based, because his 3 allows him to have an additional auto attack that deals actually you do 2 auto attacks at once, but one dealing half the damage of a regular one. So that makes quite for an interesting thing, especially if you consider the fact that with Telkine's ring it will proc twice. That's unfortunate. I tried to steal that one. Let's see, can I ticket them over the wall? And looks like I can. I see the damage numbers on the screen, so I was able to hit them both. Not entirely sure if it was worth it, but it slowed them down just a bit. Probably should have just went into the mid lane again, but that's alright. So, as Zhong Kui, since your 2 isn't as high, you don't really insta-clear it yet. You want to let your 1 tick as long as possible before you hit your 2. But you do want to get your stacks up, so you need to time it as well as possible. So you get the stacks, but the ticket was almost completely run out, so to speak. And, well, where are they now? The enemy is at their back camps, they cleared it as well. I'll just take this as an opportunity to push up the wave a bit. Bellona is rotating to the dual lane. Not sure if she will be able to do anything. Just letting my team know that Mithril is missing. I'm not sure where he is. Oh, Zhong Kui is in the left lane. Odd enough, the Zhong Kui has elected to go and gank the solo lane. And since there's still a jungler in the mid lane, there's not an awful lot I can do. And Anubis does get picked up for the first blood. I'm still curious why the Zhong Kui rotated instead of the Ao Quang. What might be my opinion. Bit of a strange choice in my opinion. Especially since the Ao Quang does have the Boomer's mark. And the mid laner has just a lot more use of it. He overextends a bit. I tried to kill him, but I kind of forgot the fact that he has a full stacked up passive and my ult just doesn't do enough damage to finish him off, of course. Way too tanky is he with that passive. He will have his ultimate now. He's out of mana, so he has to retreat, but I don't have my ultimate up. So I will need to stack up my passive again, and when he wants to fight me the next time, he will definitely have an advantage because he has his ultimate up as well as the full stack passive. So I do need to take that into consideration a bit, but I won't let it stop me from getting him. So I was kind of thinking I should just go into the Warlock Sash. I will go into Warlock Sash, but I first wanted to go into Telkine's. I figured that it's a lot more effective the earlier you get it. I do want to get boots first, because if you're not as mobile, especially against, for instance, Athena and Tyr, it can be a rough situation, especially since it doesn't... it's not really looking like the Anubis will win his lane. I hope he can stay even with him, but he will definitely not win his lane, especially not against Warrior. Mages are not the best in the solo lane against those warriors. I think that from all the mages, I think Zhong Kui is actually or Zhong Kui, probably the best one, because he is naturally tanky, he has a heal in his kit. Other mages kind of get poo-pooed on by all those warriors, because they are able to sustain and damage a lot better. And Anubis dying to a brute. Well, that definitely will spell something, I guess. At least he didn't give credit to someone, but it is not a good foresight for this. Not even mentioning the fact that, well, Anubis is not really the best late game god or early game god. Kind of depends if you get him rolling, and him being 0 and 2, once dying to as first blood again to the... I'm not sure what he died to actually. If it was Zhong Kui or the Tyr. The mid slap battle doesn't matter too much. We can both heal up on the wave, so it's kinda pointless. Does look like I win the trade by, I think, 10 HP, so that was definitely worth our effort. Definitely very. And we continue to do the attack battle. That's unfortunate. If I got the tickets, then it would have been a lot more damage, because he's slowed and I can hit my auto attacks a lot easier. But I'm kind of trying to hit him with my autos while avoiding his, so this is, again, like I said, we don't have the best kill potential. You don't really have an awful lot of kill potential on a Zhong Kui to begin with, and if you're against him as well, you both don't really have a kill potential. Or the one needs to be out of mana and has his ultimate already used because it's forced by, I don't know, a jungler or anything, and you have still your ultimate, so then maybe you have kill potential, but it's still a Zhong Kui. So, yeah. At this point, there's not something to farm, so I just head back around the corner, so if he comes around, he doesn't see me backing. Get that tier 2 for the Telkines, the item I wanted to try out, because my auto attacks will proc Telkines twice. It's an interesting thing, and just kinda to get a feel for it, if it's effective in the middle lane. It's probably a lot more effective if I'm not against a god like Zhong Kui. If I'm against a more squishy target, it's probably a lot more efficient and a lot easier, but that's alright. You see me be a bit in the tower range, with Athena also being there. There's not an awful lot I want to do, but I will ward up this spot. And maybe they have a counter ward, I'm not sure, but we will see that soon enough, if they want to spend a counter ward at that position. We could try to go and steal this. I do use my ticket here, and I am able to secure the power buff. So that is some experience stolen from the enemies. That will definitely help out a good amount. But as you can see, he does have a good amount of issues in the solo lane against the tier, like I actually expected. Mages not too good in the solo lane, like I said, and especially not Anubis. If he has two abilities where he needs to stand still for a tier with his abilities, shouldn't be too hard. Still missing Zhong Kui. He's missing a lot of experience, but as you can see, I'm already level 10, he's level 9, so in that department I'm definitely above him. Getting a lot more experience than he is. Trying to get as much as I can, as you can see, already going for the buffs. The mid camps, very important. If you can steal them away from your enemies, then it's just a lot better. Doesn't look like we can do an awful lot. It's still a Zhong Kui, so... But he uses his ultimate, I use mine. We are with the Okwang. Maybe I can kill him, probably not. No, I'll just head back. There's still a Latina that might ult in, and as well the tier. I don't really want to go into that with my the amount of mana I have. Don't really have any kill potential. Don't really need a health potion anymore. I'd rather have a mana potion, as you saw there. being out of mana is a lot easier than actually getting, well, losing any health. And that's just for the fact that you heal with your 1-2 combination. And also stack up your passive, so you'll do that anyways to clear the wave. Unless you're fully stacked, then you probably just do your 2. But that's alright. Gap cleared out the power buff. I'll take it and I probably go to the wave and clear that one out. No, I'll go to back camps. Didn't really recall what I did. But since Zhong Kui is not in the lane, otherwise I would have went to the lane. But since there are also some other jungle buffs up on the left side and Bellona's there, I figured it would probably be a bit better to go and pick that one up, because the timer on the back camps are quite short. It's definitely something you want to pick up as much as you can. And Bellona can share some experience with me in the lane. That's also alright. Let's see, do we have kill potential? Nope. Because it's a Zhong Kui. I'll just try to poke as much as I can. Actually, you can see the Telkai is doing a decent amount of damage, but it's a Zhong Kui. He just heals us up with his 1-2 combination, and there goes the entire gank. And I found him. That's something that you can also always look for. If someone is very obvious in the direction he teleports as a Ao Kuang, you can spot him out. If you hit it with an attack, he will be revealed, and he doesn't have an escape up other than his ultimate, so at that point you have a good opportunity to go for him. As you can see, I am doing a good amount of damage. There is an Ao Kuang somewhere, I'm not entirely sure where he is. Oh, there he is, okay. He is marked, and as you can see I used my ultimate. He is chased by my ghost, but you can see with the Bellona I'm able to just clear that out. He did have his ticket on me at this point. I'd rather go back than risk it. Ao Kuang might still be around. I'll just let her know she can take the wave. I'll take this back heartbeat, heal up a bit, stacking my passive up, and going back to the base. So, at this point, I am going for a Warlock Sash. Definitely a very good item to pick up. Ethereal Staff not as potent anymore. Sometimes I pick that one up if you don't have the time or don't want to take the time to stack it up. But since they kind of nerfed the health on it, it's definitely a lot better to pick up the Warlock Sash. Even with only a few stacks, it's already better than the Ethereal when it comes to the health. And its potential is a lot higher. Especially late game Zhong Kui is very powerful. And as you can see, if you look at the levels, I'm level 13 as well as the enemy tier in the solo lane. Our Anubis definitely is having a rough time. He's level 10, so that doesn't make things easier. Their Athena is actually behind by a lot. He's only level 8 against our level 10 gap, so that's definitely an advantage we have. Enemy Zhong Kui, just one level behind, not too much. But the poke war will never end. There is an Athena, but there's not an awful lot Athena can do. Don't have my ultimate, but still have my beads and my sprint. So there's definitely not anything. They don't really have a kill potential on me. They might rotate to the left side, so I will rotate with them, trying to help them if necessary. And as you can see, he is revealed immediately, and at this point I'll just take the opportunity, use my sprint, kill him off, and at that point I can just run away. Slow down the enemy Zhong Kui, who used his ult as well, but he will definitely not be able to kill me off. But they might go to the left. They are definitely going to the left. And Anubis didn't pay too much attention to what was happening. And I'm not able to help him in any way. At this point, I don't want my gap to engage. I'm very low, don't have any abilities up. If they want to go for it, fine by me, but I definitely don't want to be near it. And it's way too risky. You don't know where the Ao Kuang was. Ao Kuang was not near. Zhong Kui was there. Athena was there, as well as Tyr, the solo laner. But, well, as you saw, Ao Kuang was nowhere to be found. And if he was there as well, it might have been an issue. But there is a juicy mid wave. A lot of archers, so additional stacks for me. Already up to 11. Good amount of protections. I like it. Picking up this red. I do want to get this red buff. Allows me to do just a bit more damage. I am a good counter to Ao Kuang, definitely in this early stage of the game. And that's just for the sheer fact that if I hit my 1 on him, he will be revealed if he uses his dash during the damage over time period. And if he doesn't get away and I use my ultimate, then he would have just died if he didn't use his 1. So it's kind of a win-win anyway. He just needs to be very careful around me. Let's see, no, the mid camps are not coming up anytime soon. So I will try and go help the left lane. He is probably getting dove by the tier. And it does look like it. Ah, barely off the mark with that mark ticket thingy. Let's see, can we get him at least? Yes, we will be able to pick him up. I have a good amount of damage, but it's not enough to finish him off, even though the ticket was still burning. And since I have no mana, I'll just head back, get that Warlock Sage online, get some wards, counter ward to just make sure my ward is there, and I can counter anyone they have. It's just, it can help out a lot, especially at the four-way marks on the middle lane. You have 4 points where a lot of the jungle roads cross each other, and those are the points where the wards are put there regularly. There's almost always a ward for your enemy there, almost always. I say almost because now of course there is not a ward there. What a strange path this Athena takes. It does work out in her favor. Ooh, and Bellona is surrounded by 4. I didn't know there were so many. That is really rough. I figured there would only be 2 when I saw the Yao Kuang, but there was also a Kui, and for some reason also a tier. Kinda makes sense. He no, not the tier actually. It was the Athena. But still. Actually there were 4, I said. Was the Apollo there? I'm not sure. Anyway, let's just continue on stacking. Mid lane there's a lot of stacking, and since this is a dual lane, well, a 1v1 Kui versus Kui, there's just not an awful lot going on. You don't really have an awful lot of kill potential. I am being surrounded. Behind there's Yao Kuang, and at the front there's Athena as well, so I do need to be a bit careful. They have a good potential on me. I don't have all my stacks, so my ultimate will not give me too much of defense. But there's a tier. Forcing out my beats, but that's Kui. That's Blink from tier. I think he used it actually. I'm not entirely sure. Now I'm thinking about it. But anyway, it's Kui's ultimate, so that will definitely help me out. But unfortunately enough, it did cost me my beat, so that might be a bit difficult, especially if I'm in execute range for the Yao Kuang, or the Athena can taunt me. In those situations, it might be a bit more difficult for me to deal with. I do like the Telkine's rings a bit. There's not an awful lot of use at this point compared to any other items, getting Warlocks early or anything. I feel like it wasn't the best thing in this game in particular, and it's just for the fact that I don't have an awful lot of kill potential on the enemy Zhong Kui. So that kind of makes things... I'm not sure. There's not an awful lot I can do about it. Not sure where Zhong Kui went. We do have ward, so I think he went back to the base. Or to a back harpy. It's also a possibility. But the mid camp is up, so I'll take that again. Just making sure I keep my experience up. Not going to use any of my abilities on it. Kinda want to preserve my mana. And just to let Athena know I'm here. Putting a ticket on her face. Dealing a decent amount of damage. And my ward almost expired, but he just put a ward down. And I am able to pick that ward up. But we can just heal up a bit. I didn't heal up too much. But as you can see, my auto attacks just deal a lot more damage to him than it does to me. And it looks like we are Kui offing. And all comes down to who has a teammate. And this time around, well, maybe I have him. Yes, yes. Okay, it's a 1-for-1. But that was Apollo ultimate as well as Kui ultimate, but I used mine as well. That Telkine's really working out in this time, because we were both waiting on abilities. I kept my 3 because that way I would have the double hit on my Telkine's, and the 3 isn't stunning for such a long time yet. And as you can see, he's whispering me. The Telkine really hurts, and it does. It is a very powerful thing to pick up. And actually it worked out quite well, especially against that Kui. He wanted to fight, and he didn't take that one into consideration that much. But this is a dead Apollo tier, no issues going for that. And the pathing of Anubis, definitely not the best thing. And as you can see, he's still moving forward, and I'm not sure what he is doing at all. I'm not sure. I'm definitely not sure. First off, he walks around through the enemies to his tower, and then he elects to chase something while there's a tier next to him. And if I recall correctly, he doesn't even have any physical defense or any other health items. Even though he is an Anubis, so I kind of get why. That's still... I kind of didn't want to contest it. Bellona almost got it. I kind of wanted to save her. I should have just ran away. And at this point, I'm getting blocked. I don't really want to use my ultimate, and I am forced to my ultimate. Trying to survive as long as I can. Trying to pick up a kill, but I'm just not able to do anything. Gap just being out of range, not able to shield me in time. And that just sucks. I should just not have listened to the call of Bellona to try and steal it. It kind of didn't work out in our favor. Bellona could have tried for it, but just way too risky, especially if it's a 5-on-2. And we definitely don't have the best abilities to steal. They don't really have the best secure. You don't have an Isis ultimate, Kalkan, Ra, Scylla, those major burst ultimates to secure it. Or for instance a Scylla Crush or anything like that. So in that regard we do have a chance to kind of steal it. But still, in the end it didn't work out. They got the Gold Fury. To steal the Gold Fury, I mean. They got the Gold Fury, and well, two of us died as well. Just not able to pick them up. An awful lot of low health in the end, but low health, even if you escape with 1 health, it's enough. Unless you're against a Nuwa. Then even 300 health is probably not enough. But that's alright. They did try to steal some of our stuff. A ticket over the wall, as you can see, a huge amount of damage. And at this point, I'll just try to get some auto attacks in, but definitely having issues getting close. Athena ult coming in, but she is very low as well. She tried to save Zhong Kui, but my ultimate is able to get him. And he uses his ultimate on me. 2 of my teammates were in execute range, but that didn't really matter, and I'm able to pick up 3 of the enemies. That worked out great for us. Fortunately enough, Apollo did get picked up, and I think Anubis died in the solo lane again. My 2 bit of the mark. You did not see that. You definitely did not see that. Anyway, so it kind of worked out. We only have the tier to deal with. We can't really do too much. I probably should have pushed the mid wave or tried to look for any camps in the mid or enemy side, but I am quite low on health, so I'd rather play it safe. Kinda. I do have a lot of mana, so I can just heal up, stack my passive, but I do have to take into consideration I don't have my mid tower anymore. And with my ult being down, my beats just barely getting up. At this point I'm feeling a lot safer with my beats, but if I get fearless by the tier, I can still die very easily when I'm half HP. And just for the fact that he is fat. He's level 20 as well, so that doesn't make it a lot easier. And Zhong Kui definitely keeping up. He's level 18, as well as the enemy Apollo. My team, the highest except for me, is our Apollo. He's level 17. I am going for the gem. I think the gem will be very good in the team fights. If you look at the enemy's relics, I kind of just showed you in a quick, but bit quick. But as you can see, stunning out, huge amount of burst. They are still able to pick up the tier who is behind me, but definitely did a good amount of damage. Fortunately enough, Anubis still again picked up. Bit rough. Good amount of damage. As you can see, the tick on the Apollo dealing 101 per tick. That's pretty decent, especially, well, it's after the stacks from Spear of the Magus stack up on him, but still, it's a good amount of damage. Well, the gem will definitely help out. What I was trying to say is, the relics they have is only 1 sprint is on the board for them. So if I can force out a sprint early with, for instance, a ticket on someone, and Athena tries to save him, then that way I can make sure my ultimate is very effective, because every single ghost will slow the enemy. Tyr, barely not enough damage to go for this. I won't use my beads for this, it's a one-on-one. He doesn't really want to take it, because I don't have to rely on my abilities as much as he does. And I can do a good amount of damage, but here's Kui, so I use my sprint. I need to get out of this situation. And if I am slowed, I definitely don't have a good opportunity to do that. Use my stun as well. Heal up a bit on those 2 boars, getting some additional gold as well. That's something that's very effective on Zhong Kui. He's pretty good at healing up. Take it over the wall. Will be able to connect. And as you can see, he already used his beads just to get rid of the slows. So that's how much impact it can have. It was even without gem. So when I have a gem of isolation, that slow is just increased exponentially. It's just an insane slow. If you get hit with that, then you'll definitely have an issue. Again, ticket on his face. And I was able to just barely in time beat. If I waited just a bit longer, I would have been executed. But just in time coming out for me to save myself. And at this point I just want to farm up a bit. Getting the last 200 gold I need for my gem. Finish that one off. Stolen buff actually. Makes sense. Anubis lost his lane pretty hard against the enemy Tyr. So that kinda makes it a bit rough for him. At this point I can just back. I can wait the 10 seconds I need to get my gem. I also need to heal up a bit. And as you can see, I have a good amount of health. 2,999. Over 3,000 health now at this point. So I have a lot of health. But I do need to be careful. As you can see, the Zhong Kui as well as the Ao Kuang have a Soul Reaver. This is something I didn't realize. That's something I need to work on. Really looking at what the enemy is building. I did do it this time with the Gem of Isolation. They only have 1 sprint, so that will be very effective, especially in team fights. But I didn't really look at the Soul Reavers, so that will be an issue. And as you can see, he's so slow. He won't be able to move for such a long time. The ticket lasting, I think, 5 or 6 seconds. And when the last tick hits, the Gem of Isolation slow will also be there for, I think, 3 seconds. So that's just an insane long time you are slowed. Trying to box with an Apollo, definitely not a good idea. If I don't have a ticket on him. Beautiful Fearless. I do need to get him my ultimate quickly. And as you can see, we are turning this around insanely quick. We have an insane amount of burst damage. But I do need to be a bit careful. The Zhong Kui going in for that fight. And is able to pick up our Anubis. Again, Anubis having a very tough time. But probably has to do with the fact that he wasn't doing too hard. And solo Anubis is, I think, the only real place you could get away with Anubis is in the middle lane, and that's for the fact that you do have your jungler to protect you. In the solo lane, it's kind of like solo island sometimes. You really are committed to the 1v1 more than in the mid lane. In the mid lane you can have more support from your support, or for instance your jungler. Your jungler is, it's this meta, season 3 meta, it's very common to have kind of a dual lane of your jungler and your mid lane. They share their camps and their waves, especially in the early game before the jungler roams. But because that is the meta, you can roam earlier, kind of surprise someone. If it's effective, then it's definitely a good thing to try at least. I won't keep the Telkines the entire match. At some point they kind of fall off, even though I do more attacks with that additional attack speed. It's just worth it a lot more to get some power for it, or some other items. There are a lot better options. Telkine is definitely better for the early game. And I noticed the Ao Kuang from behind, and well, Bologna kinda got wrecked and eaten by the dragon. And in front of me is Gap, who wasn't looking behind. So that really sucks. Both picked up. Barely off the mark with my 1. At this point we do need to be a bit careful. It's only 3 on 5. I do have my ultimate up. So that might be a good opportunity. And as you can see, it's a double ultimate. Can we do something with it? It does look like the Zhong Kui is tanking. At this point it's 2-on-1. Tower, tank, save me. And I do need to be a bit careful. Tear off the mark. Is my one enough? No, it's not enough, but I am able to survive. So it kind of worked out in my favor. But unfortunately enough, well, my other two teammates, Apollo and Anubis, were not as lucky as I was. They got bursted very quickly. They both aren't tanky. I'm tanky enough, especially when I cast my ultimate, to survive a Zhong Kui's ultimate. The only reason he died to me was the fact that he was also tanking the tower as well. So that didn't really work out in his favor. But again, I need to stack up my passive as much as I can. The passive is definitely something you want to have up most of the times. Provides a good amount of protection, and especially with your ultimate, it's very, very effective. Because it doubles the protections you gain from your passive stacks, double when you use your ultimate. And just finishing off that tower. One hit, enough to finish that one off. Let's see. Oh, there's an Apollo. Able to put a ticket on him. As you can see, he is very, very slow. But the team is there to help him, so I elect not to go for it. It's definitely well, almost never it will work out for you to chase someone if you're if they are behind compared to you, if you are far ahead of them and then their entire team, then you might go for it, but it's usually just a bit too risky. Let's take a look at the levels again. There, our Kwang hasn't been farming too well actually. He's only level 17 compared to our jungler Bologna level 18, so that kind of works out. Solo, mid and the hunters are all level 20, and looks like Gap still has a level advantage to the enemy Athena, so that kind of works out. At this point we are even, we are dead even in gold. They did pick up more towers than we did, but they also got a gold fury, so that kind of makes things even. Fortunately enough, Tia Fearless misses. I'm able to just put a sticker on him, do some poke damage. It doesn't do anything against the tier. I figured it would do more, but I don't want to invest more abilities into him. It's definitely not worth it, just because he's so tanky. I have no real way to burst him down, but I can slow him down. And nice bait from the tier. Able to pick up my beats, kind of misplaying my part. And at this point I see two of the enemy squishies. I'm able to burst them both instantly. Use my sprint, try to save my teammates. And as you can see, my auto attacks are enough to kill the others. I am quite low though, so I do need to be a bit careful. Tier definitely not afraid to go for me. I don't have any defenses. Definitely don't want to go for that fight, especially with my beats down. Tier and Athena, even though not the most burst heavy gods, a good fearless combination into a shield wall from Athena will definitely, without a doubt, kill me. So I'll just head back. Finish my Rod of Truth at about 2k gold. Fortunately enough, Apollo disconnecting as well. That doesn't make it very... well, that doesn't make it easier. Like it wasn't tough enough. The only reason that fight kind of went in our favor is because my ultimate as well as my autos were able to pick up 3 of them. Because the enemy Zhong Kui actually picked up 3 of our team as well. So you can see Zhong Kui very powerful in the team fights. And Zhong Kui whispering me that he forgot how much he liked Zhong Kui. And I kind of feel the same way. I haven't played Zhong Kui in a long time. There was a time I played him a lot, especially in Siege. I'm not sure why, but I just did. And he was just very enjoyable. I like to pick him up sometimes now as well, just to go for the wacky attack speed build. Going for Telkine's Ring with Demonic Grip, as well as the Spear of the Magi's. And that's just to get almost infinite penetration on someone. And after that go for Hasten It perhaps. It's just a lot of fun. Try to type. Now noticing that I didn't messaged him back, but just wanted to send him a smiley face because I hit that ticket. Actually doing a good amount of damage. I think it will do about 100 or more per tick, so that's definitely about 500-600. So putting a ticket on one person's face will just deter them from doing anything at all, to be honest. Again, trying to stack up my passive. It's fully stacked now, so my ultimate will be more effective. And I will be a lot safer. Actually having 3k in total of health. And that's just for the fact I've sold my Vampiric Shroud, which gave about 100 health. But Kwang doesn't want to play with me. Kinda makes sense. Maybe I can hit him over the wall. Yes, I hit him over the wall. And as you can see, the damage tick coming out. A huge amount of damage actually. Can help out a good amount. Oh, Gap is in some trouble. I can ult in their entire team and we are able to do a huge amount of damage. Actually picking up 3 of them. And Athena ulting to the tier definitely won't happen. At this point we can go for the Fire Giant. I kinda call it. Tier could wreck us if he elects to go for it. We actually need someone on zoning duty. Probably Bellona the best bet. But it doesn't look like Tier recognizes the fact that we are doing it, and with that additional attack speed actually going down pretty fast. Especially, well, just the attack speed alone with the amount of power I have, just a lot of clear. But at this point I can sell it off. I was thinking about Soul Reaver or Book of Thought. I don't have enough for Spear of Desolation. Spear would have been my choice if I had enough gold, but I think this next team fight will be very important, so I'll pick up the most power I can. The reason I'm going for Book of Thought is just for the sheer fact that I'm a lot of overtime damage in a huge area. So getting more power online is probably more important for me at this point than getting that Soul Reaver proc. Because if I use my ultimate first, I don't know on who I will hit the Soul Reaver proc first. And if it's on some tanky target I don't want to focus, then it's definitely not worth it. Just putting out the ward. I do want to have some vision if a Kwang or anyone wants to gank us. With this Fire Giant we definitely have a better opportunity to go for it. And we can definitely go for something. The call is to go for the left lane, so we definitely go for it. Anubis is behind us and he is followed by the tier. And a beautiful blink from... Oh my god, he got erased. I had 2 choices and I chose definitely the wrong one. Was able to pick up Apollo, but I should have just ran the other way. This was very unfortunate. Anubis should not have followed us actually, to be honest. When with the enemies so close on his tail. Especially as an immobile god as Anubis. He's having not a really rough time taking the right paths this game. Because I've seen him getting caught multiple times because he took a rather, well, not safe path. And as you can see, I'm kind of discussing, it's probably not the best thing to do anyway. Sometimes people don't really want to take the criticism, but I think I try to put it as nice as I can, but I have my tankiness as deterring for them to engage on me. And well, the Bellona is a Bellona. You don't want to focus the Bellona when there's a juicy Anubis around. Beautiful Bellona ult actually, but gets stunned out to the bludgeon. Would definitely have been a kill if she got that bludgeon out, but nice stun from the Zhong Kui, able to deter that burst damage from coming out. Still a nice defense, probably saved the Phoenix, so definitely a good one. Fortunately enough, not able to pick someone up, but with good team play, it would have been very difficult to pick someone up, especially with the Athena. The Athena can still go for a good amount of peel with her taunt. At this point I do have an awful lot of damage. As you can see, 886 magical power with, of course, that power potion and as well the power buff. Kinda want to stack this one up, so I wait a bit for my cooldowns to get up, and as you can see, huge amount of damage with my 2, dealing about 720 on those boars. So if I'm able to use my abilities on someone, will definitely work out. And as you can see, I saw him put down a ward, so I immediately countered it. Provides a bit of vision. But at this point, we need to just group up. Try to win this fight. Fire Giant is not spawning anytime soon, but definitely will be the next point of contest. But until that's the case, I'll just try to stack up my passive the best I can. And also stack up my Book of Thought. It's not too important to stack it up for me. The passive grants a lot of mana. Well, the passive grants power in return of the... Well, for the mana. Oh crap, he kept getting caught by the tier. Beautiful ult. Using my ultimate, I got stunned out. I should have beatsed immediately, but I did not do that. If I beats that, I could have activated my ult sooner. I would have gotten more damage off, could have used my sprint. I kind of got surprised by the fact they were able to engage on me so quickly. And, well, I kind of feel that he won't be able to defend this. They are all quite healthy, actually. Well, 2 of them low health, but it's not the best engagement. Our gap was quite low, and he got fearless by the tier. It kind of is a losing fight. I should have just ran away. Because if someone is getting caught that way, you're probably not even close to winning that fight. Or he needs to get off, like for instance a 5-man Cataclysm with his ultimate. Then maybe it would have been a good fight for us. But that was not the case. I figured they would have finished it, or at least taken more. Getting the towers, but looks like they are probably going for the Fire Giant. The Fire Giant is up at this point, and we definitely need the vision. As you can see, we have only that one ward I put at the right lane. If they get another flank on us, like they did the last 2 times we were engaged on, then it's definitely game over, without a doubt. At this point, everyone is full build, the enemy is full build, and if you look at the late game comp, I definitely gotta give it to them. Our Anubis isn't doing an awful lot, and our Quang has so much of a one-shot potential, it's not even funny anymore. But I'm able to put the ticket, huge amount of damage off the ticket, nice blown ult, but a better mess. And I go forward, and oh my god! Wow. Yeah. Well, that just happened. Wow, I got erased. I was a bit late on the beats as well. Got stunned out by the Zhong Kui, and I kind of got focused down to one good target, to the Apollo. Tried to run towards him with the sprint and my ult activated, but instantly getting erased by the Soul Reaver proc from the Ao Kuang. As you can see here, a lot of burst damage instantly coming out. And I just got erased. I don't have any defense, so that in that regard it kind of makes sense. But I still have 3000 HP. I'm really not used to the late game Conquest anymore. I haven't played Conquest in such a long time, and I only had like 3 late game matches. Definitely not as a mage. But it was fun though, I do admit. I did like this game. Bit unfortunate, I think. If you look at this... the few things that went wrong, when I used my one on the Apollo, I should have just warded around a bit, because we got surrounded by their entire team when I engaged on them, and that kind of destroyed me instantly, being very tough to deal with, as well as the fact that we weren't all grouped up yet, so that also made it, they had the number advantage as well, so it kind of was difficult in that regard when coming to the late game. Anubis didn't do an awful lot, and if you look at his build, it's definitely not a build I recommend, even if you're playing in a solo lane. I do get that this can work as a build, but you need to be, I don't know, I don't think he would have been able to do anything. He probably shouldn't have picked Anubis in the solo lane at all. But if you're ahead, then you can get away with this, because you will be ahead of your enemies, able to burst them down a huge amount. But if you're behind, then even if you build so much damage, your enemy will have more damage. And that way, you will have a very rough time. And as you saw, he is 5 and 14, definitely a rough time. Gap, actually quite good score, 1-5 and 19. Good amount of assists. I don't really like the gem of isolation pickup on the gap, but other than that, a very good pickup. We had 4 sprints in our team. That's something I don't really like. I like the fact that we have like 1 or 2 sprints. Probably 2 is the best bet, because they have 1 sprint and 1 curse. But if we have 2 sprints, we also have the slot for instance, Shell. Shell, very important relic. As well as, for instance, a Frenzy or something like that. But 4 sprints is just a bit too much, in my opinion. But anyway, it was an enjoyable match. Thanks again for the request. I haven't played Zhong Kui in a long time, and actually didn't play Conquest Zhong Kui in forever. So I really enjoyed that one. Thanks again. If you have any other requests, please let me know. And as always, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.